Okay, welcome in again to Tunes Brothers. I am Rob. That is Scott. Back to Kiss and over to Scott to tell you exactly what we got going.
All right, dudes, ladies and gents, everybody from the civilized world. This is the live albums of live albums right here. Now, I understand why it's that. I understand why it broke them. Like Rob, I'm not a live album listening guy. 90% of the time, I don't go to live stuff. It's been a long time since I have literally listened to this. And I have listened to it, man. And I'm going to tell you, for a Kiss concert, the absolute probably best. I wished I could have been old enough to be at this show. They play these songs like they're supposed to be played. They don't stray far except for your drum solos and your, Paul's preaching and stuff like that, man. They're pretty much straightforward. Great sounding album, 1975. You can still say that to this day. And my favorite live album ever. From any band, I don't care. This is it. If I have to literally go to something and they say, what's your number one live album ever done, then I don't even think, man, or do this right here, dude. This is it. Now I know why. When I was young, it was Alive too. I will admit that. Because that was the era that I came in, and of course, the gate for everything's just, they're 10 times bigger. Everything's better, except for the production on the album. I don't know what happened there, but anyway. Alive, guys. The album that done it for these guys, thank God they done it. Thank God they got it produced by Kramer. Everything fell into place. Stars come aligned, all that shit. Dress to Kill tour. 3 albums, man. I still can't understand why they didn't catch on. I guess they were being judged by the way they looked, instead of the way they sounded at the end of the time. But to me, yeah, this go around, I understand. I get it, I know. And that's my opinion. Like Rob, I don't listen to live stuff hardly ever. I just it's not my go-to stuff. So, Rob, it's your turn, man.
Yeah, probably the most legendary, maybe when next to Frampton Comes Alive, for live albums in the rock genre, which I haven't heard, so I can't talk about it. But
I've got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, it is epic. It did break them. It is, a legendary album. My least favorite of the live albums. But take that, Lewis.
Yeah.
But no, I love the album. It just, the song selection for me, I'm an 80s Kiss guy and I'm a mid 70s Kiss guy with, I always as a kid loved Alive 2 better because I like the songs better. I like the production. As a kid, I could give a shit less. It was all on a turntable and it is what it is. But the explosions, it just, everything that I've heard as an adult, that was the whole purpose of Alive, to make you feel like what it felt to be there. Alive 2 does that better than this album, in my opinion. Whether it's piped in studio wise or not, the crowd's louder, it's rowdier, the explosions are better. The announcer guy, Lewis, is 10 times better on Alive 2. But all that being said, Alive 3 is the best Kiss album. Now, I love this album, and
Oh shit.
Anyway, that's another discussion for another day. But a little disclaimer on this one. Usually we like to do live or remakes to which, not necessarily what our favorite song is, but which one had, was more enhanced or brought more to the table to change it up and give it more. So the top four on here are the only four songs that I found significant differences on. I'll say this much, man. Scott's right. They played these songs the way they were supposed to be played. I mean, short of a little tempo, increase here or there, man, pretty much everything is like listening to the album. And that's great when bands don't change shit for the worse, for sure. So 5 through 16, there's nothing I can do but just rate them my favorite songs, 5 through 16. And 1 through 4 is the ones, like I said, that I found stood out as something drastically different. So it needed to be up at the top of the list just for that reason. So normally 1 through 4 wouldn't even be in my top 100 Kiss songs, but because of what they did with these songs, they're up in the top 4.
Gotcha. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to rank these songs, man, like we always do. Least favorite to favorite. Now, I want to say this again before we get started. I love this whole album, guys. This is not going to be your regular dislike to like type album for me when it comes to these songs. It's going to be how I like them on this live album. Now, you can go to the studio albums, and I'm probably going to have them a little different. So that's the way they are for me. Rob says it's, the way it is for him on through 16 or 4 or whatever. For me,
5 through 16. I mean, the good majority of these are so close to the original, just, a little better because they're a little faster, that it still comes down to what songs I like better.
Exactly.
But for the top 4, regardless if I like them better, I put the 4 up on top because there was major changes that I thought were really cool.
Good changes, basically. So yeah. All right. Well, let's see. I guess you'll take the helm on this one. I went first.
All right.
It's not. You start us off, bro.
Should be no secret, only one song in this album that I do not like, and that is Deuce. I've never heard it in a studio or live at any point in time that it's ever changed my mind. Never liked this song as a kid, never understood why it was a staple for 50 years. Don't like it then, don't like it now. Number 16.
16. Okay. 16 tracks, guys. I'll get there, but Deuce, it's I've always liked Deuce, but it's not my go-to song. Like a lot of people, that's their damn crown jewel, like Julian on FAQ or whatever. That's his song, man. It's blasphemy if it gets voted out or some shit, But anyway, yeah, right. My number 16, and it's probably not going to be a secret or hard to figure it out because this is the only song on this album that is not played like it is on the studio album. And I meant to say that before I said the whole album, but this one, and it's just burnt the fuck out. I'm burnt out. If you hear this song, if you hear a Kiss song, in this part of the country, it's this damn song and it's this version right here. It's like that's all the fuck they have. Okay, rock and roll all night. Now I don't dislike the song, no, but I cannot. I'm overkill on it. That's the only reason it's down there, and it's not as good as the other ones, in my opinion, as far as being close to on track. So that's my number 16.
I think I could honestly say, since the thing came out technology wise of even burning CDs, let alone making thumb drives with MP3s. I can honestly say I've never had any version of Rock and Roll Night ever on anything mixed ever. That song got burnt out for me when before I was even a teenager.
Yeah, I believe you're right. I don't think I've got it downloaded either, man, unless it's just a full Dress to Kill album or something, which I always had
Right.
copies, so
Yeah.
I don't. I've got, all their stuff, so I never really burnt any of their stuff, so maybe for somebody
Okay.
else, you know.
Yeah. All right, number 15. They got to fall somewhere, and the bottom half of this list really hasn't changed for me for decades. Parasite. Again, good. The only song on my list I don't like is Deuce. I mean, I like Parasite. It's just never been one again. Never been on a mix of mine. Never been one that I go to.
Okay, Parasite. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about that song.
Oh, I ain't saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not one that I choose to listen to on purpose.
No, you didn't say it's bad, but usually when I say that, I've always heard people talk about they love that song. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but they're probably Gene guys.
that's good though. That's good to have a different, especially on this album.
Yeah.
Because man, number 15, Hotter Than Hell for me. Done great. I mean, sung great. Sounds, man, I'm telling you, I didn't realize how good this album was, man. I mean, damn, man, I've lived with this freaking album my whole life, my whole entire life, just about. I mean, this thing comes out when I was 5. It was 2 years later before I even knew who the hell they were. And I've had it ever since, and I never paid attention to how good they play these damn songs, man. Very, very good play. I mean, absolutely. That's what I want to hear when I go see a band. I want to hear it done like I listen to it. And Hotter Than Hell, hey, we're just falling in line now, guys. I'm past that one. That's my number 15.
All right, number 14, another one that I always found kind of overrated, with the exception of the middle jam, Cold Gin. Still a good song, but again, one that's never made it to one of my playlists. I enjoy it when I hear it, but it's not one that I'm gonna, grab on purpose.
Okay.
Is that your cat or mine?
That's mine.
Must have been yours. Okay.
Yeah, she just bull charged in here. Yeah, like she's on fire or something. I don't know what it is about her, man. She runs in like she's being chased by 10 Rottweilers. I don't know what the hell's going on. But anyway, 16 feet. Number 14 for me. I love it. Just like the rest of them. Black Diamond. And played to perfection, man. I love the extra intro on it. Peter sings it. Actually outdoes himself singing it. I mean, a little overkill, but he screams the song, and it sounds good. So, I got nothing really to say bad about it. That's my number 14.
Right. My number 13, the very Webster's Dictionary definition of overplayed songs, Rock and Roll All Night. I honestly, and the studio version's okay. I know it lacks a solo. This version has always been irritating to me, even as a kid, since they put it out on Kiss Exposed. There's something about it. It's like that solo was done after the fact and spliced it. It's just something about the sound of this recording for this song I have never cared for.
And I'm with you, bro. I mean, literally, I'm with you. This one, instead of sped up, is slowed down to the pace of the original. And I don't get it either, man. I guess just because it's alive, dude, that they just shove this song down your throat, man. If you hear it on rock and roll all night and party every day. I mean, if it's on the radio, that's what you're gonna hear. And
And
that's fun.
and to be honest with you, if that's what I hear, I'll turn the fucking channel.
I will
I
too,
really will.
because I
I
don't
will.
never have it on the radio unless the race is on.
Yeah.
But anyway, number 13 for me. I don't say this much. Very, very rarely. I'm opposite of most of the other people that I hear. I prefer studio versions mostly over live tracks unless they're done absolutely spectacular and or even better, which is sometimes rare. Strutter, in my opinion, better than the studio. That's just my opinion. And Paul really belts out the vocals on that song here, and man, very good, very, very just man, harder, rawer,
Yep.
vicious almost. Man, his vocals on this song, but great song. Never been my favorite song, but it really amps up a notch on here. So that's my number 13, right?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. My number 12. Never liked the song on the first album. They did what it needed to be, and they did what it should have been, and sped it the fuck up. Firehouse becomes a very good song from a very annoying, stuck in quicksand song from the first album.
Oh,
It's like a kid trying his guitar lesson to learn the fucking chords they play. It's so goddamn slow on the album. It's horrible.
oh man. Yeah. I got to get there, but yeah, that does. You see, it don't bother me on either one. Actually, I like it this way and that way, but I like the pauses in Firehouse. You know, when she
Yeah,
adores you, and
a
she,
pause. Yeah, that's I'm talking about the guitar riff in the intro
yeah,
to just the overall groove. It's just too fucking slow. The pauses are fine, but you could do that double time on this fucking song. I mean, you can still pause. I don't know. Whatever. Your turn.
yeah, they did leave room where they could pick it up a little bit and still make it
Yeah.
sound good instead of taking a fast song already and speeding it up more.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Don't get me started. But anyway, all right, number 12. You done touched on it. Juice. I like how it comes on. You know, the guys. I have to say that Alive 2 is definitely better. I always found this when I was a kid and first heard this. I always found that intro very non-Kiss. I knew before I even knew it was a black guy doing it. It sounds like a black guy. And I'm like,
Yeah. And a gay black guy at that. It's horrible.
really?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. That's what he sounds like.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
The best, and you got it. It's like, what? Who the fuck is this guy? See, I heard Alive 2 first. So I'm already coming from the big bombastic introduction guy's voice, and now I hear this guy like someone's pinching his nose together as he's talking. Horrible.
Me too. I heard the Alive 2 first too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, not long before, but before.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, don't they use the same guy for this? Nah, this is not that guy. But anyway,
No.
all right, yeah, Deuce. I love the explosion at the beginning, and I will have to say this for this song too, man. I like this version better than the studio version. That's two songs on here that I like better than the studio version. Uh, that, like I said, you don't hear me say much, but if I do say it, then you know I really like it better. I mean, because I'm not a go-to guy with live. So, yeah, number
And I
20.
don't know if we could. I should have added this in when I was talking about it. The worst song Kiss has ever used for an intro ever. Um, I wonder if there's a way to track all the different songs that they've used as openers for tours
Oh, yeah.
and do an episode on that because and it probably is a short list because fucking Paul, he fucking falls in love with something and it stays like that, like he's in the goddamn military for like decades.
Yeah.
But this out of all of the openers that come to my mind is the weakest goddamn song, and even worse is when they open with a killer song and then go into fucking Deuce right afterwards. It's so, maybe because it's so goddamn expected. It's like, Jesus Christ, seriously, could you surprise me once and give me 5 songs if I got to hear this fucking thing?
Yeah.
But whatever.
I can agree, man, but they hold this so high, and
Do they or does Gene?
yeah, understandably why, but damn, man. Okay, everybody knows that Alive is what broke you guys open. Everybody, every fan that's a real fan knows this. Okay, I mean, you don't have to tell us everything's off of Alive or
Yeah.
go back and try to recreate Alive. Just
I guess for me, the problem I have is self-inflicted with this album based on my obsession of watching Kiss podcasts when I was in my 20s. When YouTube became a big deal, 20s and 30s. So fucking sick and tired of the hype from the Kiss crowd on YouTube about this fucking album, and that we're all just supposed to accept that it's the greatest live album in the world. And I just don't hear it that way. I've never heard it that way. And it's one of those things where the more someone pushes something down your fucking throat, the more you start to hate it unfairly.
start you rebelling against it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not gonna have anything pushed down my throat, man. And like I said, if you'd asked me when I was younger and probably a young teenager, if this was the best live, I would have probably said no. You know,
Well, I can tell you one thing. Not only is this not my favorite Kiss live album, Priest live is better than this album. The production's better. They sound better. The songs are better. The fucking atmosphere of the crowd is better. That is one of my very, if not second to Alive 3, third behind Symphony. That fucking album is fantastic.
I'll have to.
Priest live. And I know they got other live. I'm talking, it's a gold cover from the Turbo Tour.
Yeah,
Priest live. God damn, is that a good album?
yeah, and people give that Turbo album shit too, man. That's one of my favorite
Oh,
Priest albums, man.
yeah. Me too. Me too.
Son of a bitch.
God forbid the fucking, the metal gods
They
use a
put a little
synthesizer.
color in the damn leather.
Yeah.
So what? Just like the
Yeah.
Ultimate Sin for Ozzy. I love that fight. That's the first time I seen Ozzy.
That's my favorite goddamn album of his.
And
I love that album.
I love J.K. Lee, man. I got to see him when I was
Yeah.
young, man. That was fucking awesome, dude. So fuck,
He's my favorite Aussie guitarist ever. So
I'll have
yeah,
to
you
say,
ain't getting no arguments from me.
hey, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see Randy Rhoads, so I did get to see J.K. Lee.
Me either. I was like 10 years old when Randy passed
Yeah,
or something like that. 12,
exactly.
12 maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm tired. I'm losing speech. Did you do your number 12?
Let's see, 16, 15, 14, 13,
You just did
12. Yeah,
Deuce,
I ain't
right?
done 11 yet.
Okay, so my 11 is another case of Firehouse, but not to the same degree, is Strutter. I do like Strutter
Wait a
on the
minute.
studio
Whoa,
album,
whoa,
although
whoa.
I thought it, what?
Didn't you do Firehouse? What is Firehouse your number?
Number 12.
16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Okay. Yeah, you done Firehouse, and I done Deuce for my number 12. It's your number 11, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So can I talk about Strutter now?
Oh, okay. I thought you was talking about Firehouse again. I don't want to hear Firehouse again. Yeah, go ahead.
No,
Yeah,
no, I said it is in the same vein as Firehouse, that they did it better because they sped Strutter up a little bit too.
gotcha.
Strutter wasn't as painfully slow on the first album as Firehouse, so it wasn't vastly different, but it was enough to make me like it even more.
Yeah, I do. I like Strutter a lot on here too, man. It's one of my go-to songs on this album. There you go.
There you go.
Number 11, I guess. Nothing to Lose. And it's played Gene's
Did you
Power.
just say Deuce?
Huh?
Did you just say Deuce?
No, yeah. I got you. Nothing. No, yeah, yeah. Backtracking me now. Nothing to lose, man. Lose. Um, great song. Great song. Greatly played. Greatly sung. Everything, guys. I'm just going up the line now. I don't really got much to say about them, man. Just the order that I like them in now. So
Yeah, I mean we've talked about all these songs on the studios as it is.
yeah,
You all know if we
man.
love or hate them.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Watching You. I like it on the studio. I like it on this. I love it on a live 3. So does Lewis. He says a live 3 is the best recording of it ever.
Lewis.
We'll see what he has to
Yeah.
say about that.
He's gonna be biting nails, ain't he?
Yeah, Watching You. Great tune no matter what. They just never screw this song up. Ever.
I agree. Wholeheartedly. Number 10, Out of Sight Lady. Yeah, man. I dig it. The chorus don't sound as good on this as it does on the studio track, but it still sounds good. They don't stray with changing it in any kind of way. So it's a good song. I like it. They jam it, rock it. It's great. Parasite number 10.
All right. Number 9. Love it on the studio. Love it on the live. Love it on unplugged. Nothing to Lose. Great song. Great groove. Always a go-to song.
Yep. We missed by one on that one. Okay, number 9 for me. A song that would fall at the bottom with Rock and Roll All Night if it didn't sound so good on here. And here we are with a third track off of a live one that I like better than the studio version. Let Me Go Rock and Roll. I love the jam session in this song. I'm not crazy about the song itself, but I do love how they rock the hell out of this thing when they get back there, man, and they start jamming and the bass and the lead and I mean, they really rock out. Yeah, man, it really jacked this song way up for me in mid pack. I like this better than the studio version because that's probably my least favorite song on Hotter Than Hell. I'm pretty sure it is, but on here, that made up for it and got it up about mid pack for me.
Gotcha. Okay, number 8 for me is Rock Bottom. Severely underrated song in their catalog. Honestly, my favorite version of this is MTV Unplugged. But this is a great version nonetheless on a live. Really played to to the way it should be played. They didn't do anything crazy with this. It's just that good.
Yep. Number 8 for me, Got to Choose. Great. Great, man. I mean, I can't say enough how I'm so glad when they done this, they stayed by the charts and the numbers, man. Because I can imagine if they would have blew this Would we be sitting here talking about them today? We might be in some way, shape, or form, but would we be talking about them in the way that their career has went?
No,
So
not a 50-year legend. No.
I just don't know and don't think so really either too, man. So yeah, got to choose. It's just played great, and that's my number 8.
And that is my number 7. Got to choose another underrated song in the catalog. Killer guitars in this song, not to mention the harmonies and the melody in this thing. And it's a heavy, heavy song for Paul. Just gets overlooked, and I don't understand why.
I don't either. I don't either, man. Great musician song. You want to talk
Yeah.
about hot damn drumming and jamming and singing, man? Let me hear somebody pull the shit out on the drums and play this first time go around. Bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. And, you know, these, since these non-great musicians,
Yeah.
but, anyway,
I believe the quote was mediocre at best.
mediocre. Yeah, mediocre. Yeah. Yeah. 50 years mediocre. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, how many people can say there's only a handful of people that's done that, if
Yeah.
that, in history, and no matter the genre. So,
Yeah.
mediocre. Yeah, that's a good one. All right. Number 7, right?
For you, yes.
Cold Gin. I really like how they do that on here. This was one of my favorite songs on here when I was a kid because of the intro. Paul talking about taking a taste of alcohol, vodka and orange juice, tequila. You know, hey man, I love that, bro. And he comes out there, man, and he belts out that all right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, boom, man, dude. This was always one of my top songs on here. They amp up Cold Gin. I like this one just as good as the studio, probably on the even keel as far as song wise. I can say Cold Gin, man, number 7.
Okay, number 6 for me. This is just a epidemic here of Paul songs here. 8, 7, 6, and 5 all have the same description as far as I'm concerned in criminally underrated songs. Come On and Love Me.
Yeah,
One of my favorite makeup Paul songs of all time. Cocky, great rhythm, great chorus, and the storytelling is awesome in this. It's just a great fucking song. And again, where was it instead of Love Gun and fucking all this other shit? Whatever. Is what it is.
awesome. Yep, I'm on my way. All right, number 6. You've done touched on it. Let's call out the Firehouse. Yeah, man. I love the studio version. Slow or not, I love this version. You can move this song a little bit, and it doesn't phase it for me, doesn't make it bad, makes it actually pretty good.
Yep.
Paul really sings great. Gene sings great on this thing, man. And I've always loved Firehouse. Always loved that song. And number 6. There you go.
Number 5, you touched on before. Probably we're getting close to my favorite. Well, no, I Stole Your Love. It's in the top 5 makeup Paul songs of all time and Hotter Than Hell. Simple, quick, brilliant introduction stage rap to it. This whole album was when Paul actually gave rock and roll stage rants versus I'm a fucking comedian telling you a story.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
fucking brutal shit in the 80s. But yeah, Hotter Than Hell, great song on this. I love it in the studio, but I always like it better live because it's a little faster. It's one of those that it's great, slow and heavy on the album, but this one I just like a little bit more with a pep in its step. So there you go.
All right. Number 5. Perfection one of my favorite Kiss songs of all time, Rock Bottom. Dude, they jammed the hell out of this thing. And it doesn't beat the studio track, but it's damn close. Damn, man, they got that extra solo in here too, man. I do like that. I wish they would have stretched that out on the studio version, but I can tell that was probably something they added after the fact, and I'm glad they did. I really like that. Rock Bottom, man. Hell yeah, man. Fuck yeah, they stay on tempo. That's a hard kick your ass song anyway. Great song. Number 5, Rock Bottom.
All right, now we're in the top 4. The top 4 for me would never be on any, and I mean any playlist. That does not mean I hate them. It means these are songs that I just would never ever be something I would find myself in the mood for hearing. But because of the things that they did to these on this performance,
Okay. We're going in reverse, guys.
Yes. I'm saying that's how impressed I was with what they did with these 4 songs, because these 4 songs would be down towards the fucking bottom for me otherwise.
Gotcha.
Number 4, She. I like the song. I'm not a solo guy. I am not a solo guy by anybody, anywhere, anytime. This is the greatest Ace solo to date that I have heard in my life. This is actually like legendary, classic, whatever you want to call it. I have heard other musicians rip this off and duplicate it on their own time. So that makes this song, since it runs right into the solo, that much better.
Hey.
What are you telling me to cut for?
No, never mind. Wow, man. I love that song. Golly. But
I know you do. To me, it's just an average song.
Okay.
But Ace having his solo placed on this song makes it that much better.
Yeah, I love that breakdown too, man. Oh man, that is fucking badass. Number 4, you done touched on it. It's played great. It's on the studio great. It's on every live thing they've done great. Like you said, Watching You. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, yep.
And again,
got nothing else to say. That's great.
The argument about the set list, Watching You should have been Deuce.
I could go for that big time. That's one of my favorite songs. If not,
if you want to play a Gene song that's classic to the original 3 albums for 50 years, that's the fucking one to do, not Deuce.
I agree.
That's just my opinion.
All
right, number 3. Yeah, number 3 you touched on. And I think they did a much better job than you did, apparently, from where you placed it. Black Diamond. Again, I love this song, but much like Rock and Roll Night for me, it wouldn't. The reason I say it wouldn't make a playlist is because I've heard it so many fucking times over the course of my 40 plus years of listening to Kiss that I just wouldn't put it on a mix because I'm burnt out. But I am a sucker for Peter's fucking screaming voice. So whether he overdoes it or not, I don't care. It makes me fucking smile. No matter how bad of a fucking mood, when I hear him belting like that, I just get a grin on my face. I fucking love it. So there you go. Black Diamond hits number 3 just because Peter's that fucking awesome.
Yeah, and I love it too, man. I love from Hotter Than Hell up, dude. That was just one that yeah. All right. Number 3, you just touched on. We've been barely missing and skimming each other.
Yep.
She. Number 3, a song that I love on the studio album and a song that I love on here, man. They play. I love that slow, methodical. I just fucking love that, man. Damn.
That might be the heaviest Kiss song. I mean,
That is a
It's close. It's close.
yeah, man. It's a real true rocker, and they're harmonizing on that too, man. It's so fucking awesome too. I've always loved that song. I never, you know, when I first got Dressed to Kill, of course it was rock and roll all night. Anything for my baby, um, Come On and Love Me, that one I always liked, but as years went by, man, it's just attached to me, and I love it, dude. She, number 3 for me,
Yeah.
man.
All right. Number 2 is a song that I barely like on the studio album, have tolerated over the years, but he knocks 100,000 years out of the fucking park on this album. This
Yeah.
is the way it should have been presented on the album, and I know you're not going to do a fucking 7-minute version. At least, well, nowadays people do, but back then it was 3 minutes and done, right? For the most part. His fucking vocal gymnastics in the middle of this son of a bitch are just unbelievable. Again, I'm not a solo guy, but that fucking drum solo, adding the flanger on it, sounds so fucking cool and so different. It's not your typical, 10-minute Moby Dick fucking solo. It is, and it's not about how, I mean, he hauls ass in here, but it's not about showcasing speed. This has got a jazz beat into a rock beat. I mean, it's almost a song within itself at times. And then you add that flanger on there. It is just magnificent.
Yeah.
Between Paul's, vocal breakdown, with the sing along with the crowd and that drum solo, number 2, 100,000 years.
Yeah. The reason I was doing that is I thought we were going to hit one, but damn it, we ain't now.
Oh,
But anyway, yeah, man, number 2 for me. And you're right about that, dude. I love that song on here. Come On and Love Me. Another one that I'll take over the studio version any day. I can't, they play this song to me like it's supposed to be played and better on here. Come
yeah.
On and Love Me. He's not slow singing or mildly singing like he is on the studio. He is belting. She's a dancer, a romancer.
Yeah, he's almost got some angst in his voice as he's singing it. It's
my God, she's a dancer. I mean, they're rocking the fuck out of this, dude. And it's one of my favorites on Dressed to Kill. It's not my favorite, but it's most people's. But on here, man, it is that and then some and then double for me. I love this song on here, man. Number 2, Come On and Love Me. Perfect.
all right. My number one of my least favorite Kiss songs in history that I like. Not one of my least favorite because I hate it, because that's the entire Monster album. But this has been a song that I've just never really cared for. I don't hate it. But as a kid, when I had this album, it was my favorite song on this album. And apparently at 50 years old, it still is. And that's Let Me Go Rock and Roll. And that is all because of that fucking jam for 3 minutes or whatever it is, starting out with just the drums getting the fucking, getting amped up, getting ready, get that drum beat, and then they all crank in and just start fucking jamming. And Ace with his the fucking solo goes off and they go back into jamming. It is a thing of fucking brilliance. And normally I hate that. I call that fucking noise. But this was not 4 fucking instruments trying to show you how great they were. It was a solid fucking song jam, a group effort. It made sense. It was a melody. It really carried this fucking song to another level. As a kid, I listened to the shit out of just the middle section to the end. I just keep putting the fucking needle back. And it hasn't changed. That stood out immediately by the time I got to it. It's my favorite listen the other day. So
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I don't care about the song either, studio wise, but that right there, man, that's what I was saying too. I love that shit, dude. That is just fucking
yeah.
out of this world, man. a whole nother level for that song.
Yeah.
Okay, we was almost hitting on number one. 100,000 years, dude. Freaking Paul with his damn. That's how you do the breakdown. That's how you
Yeah.
play a fucking drum solo. Peter Criss states to this very day that's the best drum solo he's ever done in his fucking life.
It might be the best solo I've ever heard a drummer do.
I'm telling you, dude, just for and you
And for all you people in the comments, I'm not saying it's better than anything anybody's done. I'm saying it sounded better, it fit better, it made sense. It wasn't just a clinic on look how fast I am or how many offbeats I can play because I'm Neil Peart.
It's
worked.
not boring. It's not boring.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you pay attention through that whole song, not counting how fast and hard he's beating it at times, man, when he slows down, the whole time Paul is rapping, he's playing them fucking drums, man.
Yeah.
The whole time, dude. I mean, dude, and he'll pick it up, you know, and he'll start beating that, like you said, them tribal drums while Paul's rapping. It is fucking phenomenal. When I first heard this, dude, I just went fucking, what Tommy Lee said, fucking nuclear. I felt like I was there. I mean, literally, I could just see myself seeing them, watching them play, and doing all.
And I will go back and add a caveat to my take that the other albums, the other live albums, were better representation of my idea of a Kiss show. That was purely because of the explosions and the noise and the all you can hear more theatrics. But as a whole, track 1 through 16, this, including Priest Live, might be the only album I've heard that, and I know there was, but you didn't ever think, okay, that was edited out and this was cut here. This actually feels like they just hit record as soon as the lights went down and released it all the way through. It's got that flow to it.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, man, it does. It does. And I know I've heard people say it. I've watched Eddie Trunk, man, you know, with his take on it and stuff like that, man. He said it actually make you get a high. You know, as soon as that cannon goes off, it gives you a full concert experience, man, like you're there, dude. And I never thought about it that way, but just sitting there and listening to it, man, loud, you just shut off, man, and just oh, dude, it carried us into other places, man. I mean, literally, we would be in my friend's house. His parents would be at work. We'd be in their bedroom with a stereo or something, man, with broomsticks and shit, man, down just jamming out. Yeah, I mean, dude, just we went to so many places, man, with this. We could just imagine what it would have been like to be there. And it was so good revisiting this album again, man, because like you said, and I've said before too, I don't really go to live albums when I on a day-to-day basis. This is not what I listen to.
No,
but
because we're both studio guys. We want to hear perfection.
Yeah,
we don't want to hear a bad mix or a missed note or somebody's voice breaks. Not that any of that happens on here, but at least that's speaking for me. That's why I don't go to live albums, because there's nothing worse than you're jamming, whether you're in your car or like I do, or like you're lifting weights or whatever, and all of a sudden you hit something and it's like, oh, what the fuck? I don't want that, man. I doctor it up in the studio. Then I'm one of those guys, man. I want to hear perfection. Otherwise, I'll just go to the bar and listen to some fucking cover band fuck things up. I mean,
I'll have it for my keepsake. If I want live, I'll go see the show. You know, that's I understand you wholeheartedly when it comes to that. I want to hear perfection. I want to hear every detail, everything, no crowd. I want to hear it all. And yeah, man. But the experience, I'm glad. Like I said, we're doing this. I've heard things I ain't heard in fucking decades, man. And it's awesome. It really is. And it's kind of cool to finish off with this one with our Kiss exploitation here, you know, as far as album ranking.
Well, we're finishing with probably the most legendary Kiss album of all time. People say Destroyer. I beg to differ.
Yeah,
This outsold Destroyer without even trying. This is considered by all of your heroes out there, people. Your bands, your favorite bands, they all grew up on this fucking album.
yep,
And this is what they wanted to fucking be, is this album.
damn right. That's just when they heard this, man. I've heard so many of them say it.
Yeah.
Damn, damn, that's it. That's
And
what
I'll probably never listen to it again unless there's another scenario like this where it's called for in a podcast. Just because I truly don't. I am not lying when I say I don't listen to live music. Right now, over the last 10 years, the only live track I put on a playlist is Nothing to Lose off MTV Unplugged, because there is no Eric Singer version in a studio, and Paul's backing vocals on the chorus are off the charts. I can't get that because it doesn't exist on a studio album. That's usually the only reason I put a live album in, is if the studio track is so fucking bad or old, or the production was so bad, I gotta find something else to hear it decent.
Yeah.
Or it just doesn't exist on a studio album. In the case of the Eric Singer and Peter Criss duet, basically, of Nothing to Lose, which I think visually and audibly was the coolest goddamn thing I've ever seen in the Kiss world.
Awesome, man. Awesome, dude. And yeah, this just really this album here, man, it just really hit the nostalgia time travel for me, man. You know, because when we would put this thing on, man, on one side, and sometimes we might not start on side one. We may put actually we played side 4 more than any other side. The Cold Gin and
Yeah.
Through Rock and Roll All Night, that side we played it more because of, you know, Paul's rapping and stuff like that. But we did play it all, and it just hearing all these songs again was just, I can just remember places and times and what we were doing, who I was hanging with, all that shit when we was doing this stuff as a kid, man. It really took me back, man, in places I hadn't thought about in a long time, dude. Very fucking awesome experience. Great, in my opinion, the best rock album that's ever been put out live. And not saying that because it's what broke them and all that shit. No, I did not know that shit back then. I mean, I know it now, but back then it wasn't my go-to album. Kiss Alive 2 was, because it was my favorite.
And I'd have to almost walk back my opening comments. I tend to agree with you that it's probably the most influential and rock live album of any band, and the most solid. It captures the fluidity, where like Alive 2, you can, it seems like a bunch of different cuts, right? You can tell. Even as a kid, I knew it didn't flow. It didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so it is the best representation of a true live show, because you don't really feel where there were cuts, or, you know, they left this out here, added this in there. And it was so influential, and it had not really live albums were something people just didn't fucking do back then.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a huge risk. Nobody cared about live albums. The reason I say Alive 3 is my favorite is because I'm the 80s guy, and my 80s songs are on that album. I think it's really fucking cool how Eric Singer adds the double bass to a lot of these classic Kiss songs.
Yeah, and I love Alive 3 too, man. All their live albums I love.
I don't like pitting anything Kiss against itself other than Monster, because that'll always be hated by me.
Yeah,
but it all depends. I can tell you today that I think Asylum's a better album than Animalize, and next week I could feel completely differently. So that applies to the live album. There are times where the symphony is the only live I want to hear because of that blend. Like you love blues getting blended in with rock. I love the symphony orchestra getting blended in with hard rock. I think that is the coolest thing. I thought it was cool when Metallica did it. I just think it adds so much more power to an already powerful, you know, song. But neither here nor there. It just depends on the day. So I'd have to say my favorite is Alive 3 for me to listen to. But if I had to say what's the greatest live album of all time by any band, it's Kiss Alive. It
Yeah.
just fucking is.
It kind of
Yeah.
opened the gateway, bro. It was the gateway album, man. And like you said, people just didn't do live albums, and to do a double live album and take a chance and really, people started doing live albums, man. Hot damn.
I mean, if you were lucky, someone would put one live track on a studio album, and that was it.
Yep. Yep. And this album with the sound effects on it and everything, if you think back to the mid 70s, man, it's a futuristic album, man. It's almost before its time, bro. I mean, the production is damn
Look at the flanger on the drum solo. I mean, the flange on the drum.
Yeah.
That was something that just became a big deal in the mid 80s.
Hey,
I mean, that's just
and it sounded great.
Yeah.
You know, and they were doing it before, what was it, rock bottom, that,
yeah.
it's like, I always wondered, what the is that? Man, whatever it is, I like it.
I completely spaced that out, the way it just fades in and the crowd's cheering.
Yeah, man, I'm thinking, is Ace doing that? That's Space Ace. But no, man, I found out later on. But dude,
yeah,
I loved it, man. And Alive, yes,
yeah.
I don't know if I could say it good about it. It's not my go-to album. I like it, so Rob. I'm not a just sit around and listen to live stuff, dude. But it was very, very awesome to revisit this whole album in its entirety a couple of times, man. Yeah, very, very, very memory lane. So
yeah, and now that we have finished the official release catalog, there are videos to review, there are home videos to review, there are costumes, there are regular discussions about what happened when and what. This ain't gonna end anytime soon.
No. We got
we just
stuff.
put this under our belt. Yep. So
Yep.
the main talking point with everybody is the albums. We got them.
Yep. And do you have your album? Because we're not gonna do full band discographies, with the exception of AC/DC. We're almost about through with them. We're going to pick albums, guys. Rob's going to pick one first, since I done the AC/DC train. We're going to go over it, and what we'll do is we'll start letting you guys know on the episode before. That way, you guys can find that album, even if you don't know what it is. Listen to it and be ready for our takes. That'd be kind of cool to let them know what we're going to be doing in the next video, or tour videos or whatever. We're going to be doing AC/DC Fly on the Wall is the next AC/DC album.
And that will come out tomorrow. There will be a brief pause. I am going to Rocktember, so I will be gone Thursday through, I'll be coming back Sunday. So you'll be having a lag with no episodes there. We didn't go anywhere. It's just I will be out of town at a rock festival watching your guys' Ace Frehley screw up drastically.
Come on, Ace. Prove him wrong,
man. So tomorrow we'll get that Fly on the Wall out to you for AC/DC, and then we'll pick them back up when I get back, and we'll figure out. I'll throw an album Scott's way. After we do whatever we do, it'll be a Kiss video, I'm assuming, of some sort.
Yep.
And then we'll give you, and then so from here on out, even if you don't want to watch the episodes, if it's AC/DC, you don't like AC/DC, if it's Skid Row, whatever, always skim to the back and see right before the end, and we'll tell you what's coming up next.
Exactly.
Except AC/DC.
I'm going to predict Rob's really going to like that one. I'm just going to go there because I've been jamming it today. I hadn't listened to it in its entirety, but in a long time. But yeah,
I will tell you something. Just in prepping by copying the playlist titles, I have heard 1-2 songs on this that I know for sure.
Oh, really? Wow,
Yep.
that's a shock almost.
And I think it's because they were on the Who Made Who album from the soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. But I know I've heard these 2 songs.
Okay.
I absolutely know for sure I've heard these 2 songs.
Yeah, there's a couple of these on there. You're right. There is a couple of these on that Who Made Who album.
I'll just tell you right now, the ones I've heard, because I'm not telling you my rankings or what I even think about them.
Yeah.
Shake Your Foundation and Sink the Pink. And
Yep.
it seems to me it was all conglomerated with Who Made Who in that time frame for me. So I don't know what's on the actual Who Made Who album, but I know it was comprised of a bunch of mixed stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if these 2 songs are on there.
Yep, they are.
Okay, there you go. That's how I've heard them.
Those are the 2.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because I actually did. I didn't own it, but my brother owned the Who Made Who cassette, so I did borrow it from time to time because I loved the movie and I loved that song Who Made Who. So
yes.
that's how I've heard them. Yeah.
Awesome. So tomorrow when we do Fly on the Wall, Rob will come up with his CD whenever he gets back from Rocktober. What'd you say? That festival?
Rock Timber
Festival. We will dive into that, and we will dive in. I'll give him the next AC/DC, and then after that one, I'll give him a discussion on a Kiss thing that we're going to do, and then we'll just kind of fall in line, guys.
You know what? Yes. After Fly on the Wall, I will show you all. You'll get it the same time Scott does. When I come back, we'll get all your thoughts. You get 3-4 days to digest and listen to the album that I'm presenting to Scott.
Awesome.
All right. Okay, everybody. Until next time, thanks for watching.